What's up? This is Nathan, that album reviewer guy, and I'm here doing another album review. I'm going to be reviewing an album that I didn't think I was going to review, but I'm going to do it. The new Slipknot album, .5 The Great Chapter. I'm not a big Slipknot fan, but I figured I'd give this album a shot. This is the band's fifth album, and first album in 6 years, and it's the first album not to feature bassist Paul Gray due to his death a few years ago, and also doesn't feature drummer Joey Jordison due to the fact that he left the band last year and pursued a new project, Scar the Martyr. Well, they recruited 2 new members to the band, whose identities were supposed to be kept a secret until a photo leaked, so everyone found out who they were, and Corey Taylor and the rest of the band were not too happy about that. But stuff happens. Alright, now let's get into the album. It opens with XIX, or in Roman numerals, that is the number 19, and that's a haunting intro track that features some interesting background sounds and somewhat harsh vocals from Corey Taylor. And for me, this song actually gives off a bit of a 9 Inch Nails vibe, which is pretty interesting. Then we get into Sarcastrophe, which opens a bit slow and soft, but it really picks up about a minute in. Corey Taylor's vocals are fast and furious, like you would expect them to be on a standard Slipknot track. AOV is the next track, and it's the first track on the album that goes right into the heaviness without any build-up. It's also the first track on the album to feature any clean vocals. I really like the progression in this song. It makes the track worth the 5.5 minutes it spans over. Then we get into The Devil and I, which is their hit single off this album. It's a great track that features both softer and harsher vocals, as well as instrumentation. Good track overall. Kill Pop is the next one. It turns down the album down a little bit, as this is a slightly softer track than the previous 2. It still has some heavy instrumentation and harsh vocals, but it's mainly made up of melodic vocals and slightly softer instrumentals. Skeptic is the next one. It's a skippable track if you ask me. There's nothing special about it. It just features the type of aggressive and harsh lyrics that I never really liked about Slipknot, to be honest. I just consider this track to be a generic Slipknot song. Lech, I don't know how you pronounce that, features a little bit of what sounds like a spoken word verse, at least until Corey's vocals get a bit harsher. This is recurrent throughout the track. It goes from this style of vocals to a harsher style of vocals, and the instrumentals are pretty much the same way. Goodbye is another track that has mostly clean vocals and softer instrumentals. It doesn't really pick up until about 2 minutes in. However, I do like the progression of this track. It goes from a softer piece to a heavier piece flawlessly. And the guitar work on this track is great as well. There's a nice fast riff in this song that I really like. Nomadic has a really nice vibe to it. I like Corey's style of vocals on this track, and I think it works with the instrumentation very well. There's also some really nice turntable work on this track and I enjoy. The One That Kills the Least has some nice lyrics, and they're presented well. Again, Corey's vocals are great, both his harsh vocals and his clean vocals. The instrumentation is well done too, especially the percussion and turntables. I really like the work on those specific instruments, or whatever you want to call them, in this track. Because turntables, kind of an instrument, but not really. Custer is another one of those overly aggressive Slipknot songs that I'm just not a big fan of. I find all the swearing in this track pointless, and it's not enjoyable for me. Be Prepared for Hell is an interlude track that is placed in between Custer and the Negative One. And the Negative One I did a track review of, so I'm not going to say too much about it. If you want to see the track review, down there. Then we get into the last song of the album, If Rain Is What You Want, which is a slow and haunting track, and there are no harsh vocals in this track until about 3 minutes in. It doesn't matter what style of vocals are being used, because this song still manages to maintain its haunting mood, even with the heavier instrumentals coming in. It's the longest song on the album, and overall, it's a good song to close the album with. There's quite a bit of similarity on the album. I mean, it's good in some parts, but bad in others. I mean, it's good because, continuity and everything, but it's bad because it sometimes gets a bit repetitive, and that's one of the reasons I wasn't really a big fan of Slipknot to begin with, because I felt like all their songs had the same style of harsh and aggressive vocals and instrumentation that just seemed overdone. But some parts of this album have that. Other parts do not. And I actually do enjoy this album. Not gonna lie. I have some favorites on the album. AOV, The Devil and I, Goodbye, Nomadic, The One That Kills the Least, The Negative One, and If Rain Is What You Want. Least favorites on the album are Skeptic and Custer. I didn't think I'd give this album this high of a rating, but it gets an 8.5 out of 10. Slipknot did a good job in this comeback album. Even though they don't have Paul Gray or Joey Jordison anymore, they still, came back with a vengeance. And I do like the fact that they were able to do that. Gotta give them props for that. Despite the bad times that the band was going through, they managed to pick themselves up and go right back at it with a new album, and that's all you can really ask for, I guess. What did you guys think of the album? What do you guys think of Slipknot? Let me know. My social media stuff is down there, and stay tuned for more stuff. That Album Reviewer Guy, signing off.